Hey ladies, it's Kane. I just wanted to come to you tonight and let's talk about recruiting. I have a little slideshow I want to show you first about building a recruiting culture. So let me get that loaded up. Okay. And it's talking about 3 keys to building a team sponsoring culture. Now, there are 3 keys to building that culture, and the first one is to model. We want to model the beliefs, the behaviors, and the attitudes, and it's all about our mindset where recruiting is concerned. And we are going to talk about actually how to recruit and about building this culture, so just be patient if we haven't touched on your topic yet, or just know that we're going to get to several of those kinds of topics tonight. We want to talk about duplication. That's another key to building a sponsoring culture. We want to kind of give us this system for managing recruits that, is a stick-with-it system. Then edification, and that means basically just building that up and standing up in our mindset, making sure that we have that mindset going and that we have a consistent approach with our team, definitely on that. So we're going to talk about all 3, and we're going to start with this truth. You can only duplicate your way to success. And just keep in mind, that I know so many times we have said that we wish we had another one of us on our team, because if you're building your business and growing your business, you really wish that you had someone like you on your team. You can't sell your way to long-term success. You even can't book or sponsor your way to long-term success. You can only duplicate your way, because duplication actually gives us such a strong culture that everybody falls into the same mindset, and we all work together with the same beliefs, the same attitudes, the same actions of our culture. So this is where consistent growth and residual income really become available for everybody when we all are steering that same ship. So the question you need to always ask yourself is, can what I'm doing be duplicated? Or can what I'm doing be easily duplicated? We want to make sure that it can. So I want you to think about your own recruiting approach as it is now. And really think about how you can make that, it may already be, or if it's not, how you can make that more simple so someone else can duplicate that. So let's see. The next one. Hello. How are you? Just getting started, so you're good to go. All right, so we want to talk about creating consistency with recruiting. And we're creating a recruiting culture that starts with that recruiting mindset. So, and that means making it a part of our everyday 31 business. And we want to talk about why we need to create this culture. For one, we want to make sure that it has a value for time and that duplication. We want to increase our income with overrides. We want leadership there. We want to be that support sister and being a role model. We want to increase our confidence in recruiting, and we also want to do that for personal development. All right, so these are 4 reasons that our team will recruit, and also 4 reasons that we will recruit. So we need to learn our own recruiting language. So if you look at these, some of your reasons and some of my reasons, some of our team's reasons, it depends on who we're talking about here, may be spiritual. We feel like God is calling us to reach others through 31. It may be a gift. We feel like 31 is a gift that we're giving someone that will really change their life. It may be that we're in competition or we're competitive. If we don't ask them to join our team, somebody else will recruit them. And it may be business where someone tells you what to do and you do it. So you just nose to the grindstone, laser focused on what you're supposed to do. So when you look at that, I want you to think about what your recruiting language is and just write it down. It may be a combination of some of these. Some of these are emotionally driven, some are personality driven. So I just want you to think about those. And just write that down. All right, so here it says your future team is everywhere. So if I were to tell you right now that I could hand you as many home parties as you would like to have in the next 30 days, I want you to think about how many you would like to have and write that number down. And then look at your calendar and open up your calendar to the next month. And you may have your calendars that I posted, your booking calendar and your conversation tracker, and that's fine if you have that. And I want you to circle the dates that you want to have those parties. Now, really, of course, I can't just hand those parties to you today, but it can be as easy as that. Just getting going to get what you want. If you have that mindset and you know that you want to have parties on those days, those are the dates you offer to your hostesses, then that kind of gives that mindset there. So if each party represents $150, you do the math and how much you'll make after our 30-day payday. So I want you to think about where you're going to spend that money, what you might do with it. All right, I see a few people on with us. Does anybody want to share what they might do with that? Anybody want to share? Hello? Uh-huh. He is not. He is up at the batting cages right now, but I can give you his number. Okay. Okay, that'll be great. Thank you. Sorry, y'all. I had somebody from church calling, and I just left church, so I was kind of worried that I knew I didn't leave a kid there. But anyway, so what are some things that you would spend your money on? Anybody want to share? Somebody today said they had money to spend on their kids' braces. So I know those got to be expensive. Sorry. Going crazy here. All right. Anybody have anything to share? You're all being quiet. All right. So let's look here now where our parties come from. They come from out and about. They come from vendor events. They come from home office leads. They come from our pink bag or customer care calls, and they come from other home parties. So when we know that's where our parties come from, you also need to know that's where your team is coming from. If you're willing to hear no enough times, you will have those parties booked. And that's also where your recruits are going to come from. You have to be willing to hear the word no. And I know that's so hard because we don't want to hear no. We don't even like saying no. In fact, most of the time we'll do things that we feel too overwhelmed to do just because we don't want to hear ourselves say no, in fact. So I want you to think about that and think about the ideal place to get your recruits, and that is right here, home party. Because it's live, you're seeing those people face to face, and that's where you have your easiest target to get people. If you're going to put these 4 places, 4 pies here, we've got our 4 circles here. If you were going to think about what the biggest percentage of your team would come from, and where do you think the most healthy leads would come from anyway? I want you to think about that. Some people may say home office leads because they're out there searching for you, and they're given to you by home office. And so that may be where some of your strongest leads come from. Your home party are those people that you're in actual contact with face to face. So that may come from there. Your pink bag calls and your customer care may show how much you do really care about your customers and your hostesses. So you may get them from there. I mean, it really just depends on your approach and what means the most to you. Out and about in vendor shows, same thing. These are people that you've come in contact with, you've had time to talk to. So you may have those. And if you're going to look at your own personal business, think about how your business looks when it's healthy, and think about where those people will come from. All right, so this 1 in 10. Now, the DSA has given us a statistic that says 1 in 10 people that you invite to host a party or become a consultant will say yes. The more you invite, the better you get. And then you begin to see 1 in 9, then 1 in 8, and so on. Because the more confidence you have, the more likely people are to say yes. They don't feel like it's a gamble when they party with you or join your team. Now, 31 actually recently researched this, and 31 consultants are pretty much getting a yes 1 in 8 times based on our personal business statistics. So I want you to think about it. Is achieving your why worth more than hearing 7 no's? Let me say that question one more time. Is achieving your why worth more than hearing 7 no's? Now, I can probably say no to my kids 7 times a day very easily, and some of y'all may be the same way. We may say it 70 times. So, I'm perfectly fine with saying no in that sense. And I can hear the word no. But I also know that my why is strong enough for my family that I'm okay to hear it if I hear it. And sometimes you don't hear no, you hear nothing. You know how it is when you text somebody and they never reply, or you call somebody and they don't answer, or you email somebody and they try to make it look like they didn't even read the email. The same thing. Or a Facebook message. I love where it says seen and it gives the time that somebody saw your message, because that way they actually did have to see it. But I want you to think about that, and not worry about that no, and just be able to let that go. And sometimes there's actually a book called Go for No, and I've heard tons of people have read it. I haven't personally read it yet, but I've heard lots of people have read it, and it really, really, really just encourages you to go for that no. And celebrate the no. If you get a no, it's okay. Just mark it off as one of your no's. That's 1 on your way to 8. All right, so those no's can come from all those places we just saw already, and also where leads can be found. And I want you, as a consultant and as a leader, for those of you directors who may be on this webinar, I want you to realize and prepare your team to hear the word no, that it's okay to hear it, because that just means they're getting to their yes. And I think when we hear no, we get discouraged so fast, and we need to let that go. All right, so let's look at the next one. And this is recruiting at the party, because the party can be the #1 place to recruit and sponsor. So I want you to think about that. Now, I'm going to stop the screen share. And I'm going to get back on here for a minute, if it will let me. And I want to show you something that I've been doing at my parties. If you can see this tote right here, Yay. Okay. This tote is the very first 31 product that I purchased. Originally, before I bought it, it was called a diaper organizer, and then it became the all-in-one tote. And eventually, this tote evolved into our organizing products that we have now, which could have been the zip top organizing utility tote, which is pretty much all number two seller, one or two. And so at my parties lately, what I have been doing is showing this product. Sorry, is my sound messing up? Is it backfiring on somebody? Anyway, I've been showing this product, and I've been really talking about what an amazing product I thought it was when I bought it and how far we've come. But I also shared what I have in my tote. And as you can tell, there's physically nothing in there. But I've been sharing what I carry with me as far as my business goes and how important that it is to me that I have that. And what I have been carrying is my family. What I have been carrying is my mortgage. And mainly what I was carrying was my utility bill when I first got started with 31. And I talk about that. I've gone back to that beginning stage. And so this is kind of my why bag. And so you may hear that mentioned quite a bit. When we first started with 31, that was a huge thing. Everybody was doing their why bag. They picked a tote that was their favorite. They put a few things in it that reminded them of why they started their business, and they shared that at their party. And it was so simple and easy, but so normal. You know, it just really brought home to people why you can start your own 31 business. And so for me, mine was my utility bill. My husband and I are both teachers. We're retired now, but we were both teachers. And our income that we had left over after both getting paid as two teachers was basically decided on by our utility bill, because that was our only bill that was not always the same. Every other bill we had was pretty much the same. You know, your mortgage is the same. Our phone bill was pretty much the same. Water bill always stayed around $30. Our utility bill was the one that just could be either outrageous or smaller. And so, you know, here summers in Alabama are hot, and sometimes winters, I mean, our southern skin just can't handle that winter that gets below 50 degrees. So, so we would crank that heat up without thinking about the consequences that it would reflect on that utility bill. And so I definitely have my utility bill in this bag because I wanted to have extra income, because, you know, our utility bill determined what income we had, which I thought was really kind of sad, but it was true. So I put my utility bill in this bag. I put a picture of my kids in this bag. You know, I am home now, get to be home with my kids, and they're in school, but I get to be a stay-at-home mom or a work-at-home mom now because of 31. And so I'm sharing this why bag. And if you haven't seen the video that's our story on 31gifts.com, you need to go back and look at that. I'll try to share the link so y'all can see it. But on the video, the lady kind of hugs her tote. And I can hug this tote a bajillion times and it won't look any prettier because ours are so much better now, obviously. I mean, it's all wrinkly. Look at it. It's crazy. But I can hug this tote. This tote changed my life. It was the first thing I bought from 31. I booked a party after buying this tote, and I signed up after that party. So I can tell you that it's made a huge, huge difference for me. And when you are honest with people about your business and what it has done for you, that is how you recruit, ladies. That is how you share. Because I'm honest with people about what 31 has done for my life. And that's how you talk to people. That's the kind of conversation you have. That's how you recruit at the party, by sharing your why and sharing your story and it being heartfelt. Now, it doesn't have to be long. It can be kind of short, and you can plant a few seeds and then tell your big why near the end. But I just want you to know that it can be that simple. Just share a tote. Share the first thing you ever bought, or share your favorite tote now and why it's your favorite, or share something from the kit. I mean, there's so many options when it comes to sharing your why. And, you know, when you're showing your products, make sure you point out that that's in the enrollment kit. And it can just be a quick little blurb. You know, this came from the enrollment kit. And then the next product. Oh, and I got this one, just for doing my job in Startswell. Or it may be that it's an add-on kit. But I was able to purchase this add-on kit because I'm a consultant already. So I just want you to think about those things when it comes to sharing your why and sharing your products at your party as well. All right, we'll go back to this quick little screen. I can get it to go. Hang on. Okay, so back to recruiting at the party. And whenever you are working on these parties and you are really sharing your why, there are some things that you need to be intentional about, and that is some things that can give you those recruiting results. And you don't want to leave anything out because every party has a beginning, a middle, and an end. So you want to share something about recruiting pretty much at the beginning, the middle, and the end. And when you think about the 3 parts of the party, the beginning, the middle, and the end, I want you to also think about these 3 I's. In the South, those are eyes, 3 eyes. But we have 3 I's to recruiting. One, you create interest. When you share a little bit about your business, you're creating interest. You can see at your party who might be interested in 31. It may be the person who asks the most questions. It may be the person who flips to the back of the catalog. It may be the person who is really paying close attention to what you're doing. But you're going to create that interest somehow just by getting that. And number 2, you're going to invite. Offer your guests a chance to consider the business. Give each guest at the party with their receipt a recruiting flyer, if you can, or something made up that tells your story. And say, is it okay if I call you in a day or so to ask you a few questions about this information I've given you? Most people are not going to say no. They'll say sure. Or if they're with another company and you're not trying to cross recruit, I mean, that's totally different. But still, you can still invite them to check out the information. And then interview. When you call them later or when you talk to them even at the party, you can see if 31's a fit for her. Today I had the opportunity to talk to a lady. I created interest at my party. She loved my old tote and how I showed how it's grown into the new tote, but how I got started with the old one. And I could tell she was really paying close attention. But then she left the party and I was like, I don't know. I just don't know if I made a connection with her. Well, then that was on Monday night. On Tuesday, I get a text from her that says, I want to book a party, but I'm also interested in the business. And because I did invite everyone there to take a look at our business opportunity info, and I gave everybody a flyer. So she called me and said, or texted me and said she was interested in the business. And she was available to talk today on the phone at 11 o'clock. So we talked today. And I really got to interview her and find out that 31 was a fit for her. First of all, she told me she was a bag lady. And so that let me know right away that she was interested in our stuff, that she really probably loved 31 stuff already because she said she was a bag lady. She said, I'm not into shoes like some people are. I'm really into bags. And so that let me know right away, that she could be a fit for us. So I did that little quick interview with her, and I mean, just crazy, how much she really is a right fit for 31. And she said, I want to think about it, but let's go ahead and get my party on the books. And we got her party date down. And I told her, if you sign up before your party, then that can be your launch party, and I'll come help you do that. So we had that little interview there, and things were just great. All right, so we're going to talk about opening your party. You want at the beginning of the party is where recruiting begins. So there are 2 openings you can try. You have that warm connection, you have guests, and then you have a strong open that has a real meaningful story. And that may be where you show your why bag, or you may wait till later to do that.
Need sweatshirts? I know, baby. Hold on.
All right. Sorry. All right, let's go back. Sorry, I clicked and didn't mean to. All right, so your warm connection. Some people may use name tags. You can bring name tags if you want to approach each guest as they enter and learn their name. This will allow you to say their name through the party, and it's a proven fact that calling your guests by name increases your sales, your bookings, and your recruiting leads. So when you give them a name tag, you can say, you can ask questions like, how was your day? Or, I like your haircut. I mean, you want to be sincere, of course. Ask them, did they have to work today? You know, it might tell you where they worked, but keep your connection with them about them and not about 31. It does make you seem genuine, and you want to be genuine. You really want to care about what's going on with them and not just somebody who's wanting to take their money at the end of the night. So I want you to think about your current opening when you do your parties. How do you feel about it as it is now? Do you feel any passion and excitement about your business? Do you think that's coming through? When was the last time you gave your opening or your party presentation a refresher? And let's think about if you have a team under you, are you working with them to help them develop this too? So even though we know that some of these questions may be obvious, we want to make sure that we're working on this with our team. All right, so let's move on to the next part. Step 2 is plant the seed. So there are 3 ways to plant the seed, whether it's through income, whether it's through product, or whether it's through fun. And a lot of times we plant seeds that support the reason why we started the business, but you want to think about your guest and how that may not connect with her. And so that's why you want to plant all 3 of these seeds to reach to them where they are. So I want you to think about income. You know, and share may be something that you've been able to purchase or something you've been able to do because of your 31 income. Then I want you to talk about the products that came in your kit or things that you earned in Startswell just because you're doing your job. And then lastly, I want you to focus on the fun part. What do you love about the fun of 31, whether it's the sisterhood, whether you've attended national conference or our Better Together meetings, or you just have fun hanging out with girls and women. I know for me, I'm the mother of 2 boys, so I have a husband and 2 boys. So the fun came from being with other women because I wasn't with other women at all. And when I first got started with 31 9 years ago, you know, I had a 3-year-old and a 2-year-old. So, you know, definitely needed that girl time, and 31 provided that. So I want to make sure in my personal open and in my presentation, I'm planting these 3 seeds. And when you get ready to do your end with your checkout, that's where you can invite every guest to take an opportunity brochure or a flyer. You don't have to purchase those brochures. You can just do flyers if you want to. You can do a handwritten card, whatever you'd like to do. And then make sure you have contact information and set a time to follow up. And that may be on her order form. And that's what I do. I actually write down on the order form when I'm supposed to contact them back because I know I'm going to look at those in the next day or so to enter the orders. So I make sure I have that contact info and I set that time to follow up. And then, you know, if the guest doesn't want to take a flyer, it's not a big deal. You've asked, so you've done your part. It's up to them to say yes or no. So I've always said my job is to ask. It's up to them to accept or reject. And so you can't do anything about the rejection, but you can check that off on your list of no's. And if someone agrees to take the brochure or your flyer, then you can say, you know, this really is to help answer some questions or generate some questions you might have about 31. Can I give you the call in the next day or 2 so I can follow up with you about 31? And if she says yes, you know, then set up that time or whenever you plan to call her back. And if she says, no, then say, well, you know, I would love to work with you on hosting a party as a fun girls' night out with your friends. How does that sound? And then at the end, total her order, let her know how much she owes at that point. And I want you to, you know, really make sure you have that connection with them again. So you're setting that tone for customer care later. And you want to make sure that you're leading the checkout conversation with the business opportunity first, and then offer to host a party second, because you're giving it in the order of benefit. Their benefit, of course, is to join your team. Then their next benefit is to host a party. And then the last benefit, of course, is just being the customer. So just keep those 3 priorities in mind. Number 1 priority, of course, is to have her join your team. And then second priority is to have her host a party. And the third priority is to have her be a customer. So everybody you come in contact with fits in one of those 3 categories. They're either a potential recruit, a potential hostess, or a customer. So just keep that in mind. All right, so the final I, of course, to recruiting is very critical, and that is the conversation or the interview. You want to find out, what makes her think this business is for her. Also think about any obstacles. Is there anything that might be standing in her way? And one question you can say when you talk about her why is, what was it about the party that caused you to want to know more about 31? Or, if you didn't meet them at a party, you can always say, well, what got you thinking about 31? And usually people say income, product, and fun, and that's why we focus on those in our seeds. And then the next one, of course, is explore any obstacles. And one question you can say, is there anything standing in your way from giving 31 a try? And so a lot of times people will say time. They don't think they have enough time. A lot of times they'll say money. And then they might say support, like they don't think their spouse will support them, or they don't think they know enough people to do it. So, we really want to work on overcoming those obstacles. And there are ways we can do that just by talking through them. And once you find out about time, and the truth is, people who are busy, or what they consider busy, and I hate to use that word, but there's no other word really to say that. People who have a lot of things going on, though, are usually in contact with more people, which means they have a better chance of growing their business. So you can always share that as well. When you get ready to close, and you're guiding to a start date or a follow-up date, this is where you can say, if I told you could get your first paycheck on March 25th, which we're still in the first 15 days, but really it would be April 10th or April 10th. When would you like to be paid? And that lets kind of a timeline. And so, like today, when I was talking with my new potential recruit, we were setting her party date, and I said, you really would like to enroll by this date. That gives you enough time before your party for your kit to arrive. But it also gives you plenty of time to meet your first start swell in those first 30 days. So that really helped a lot. And beginning that strong start, that start swell conversation, and really working toward getting her set up for success before she even gets started. And it lets the new recruit know that you're mindful of those dates, and you expect her, and I don't want to say expect in a bad way, but you expect her to earn those things because you'll be there to support her to earn them. All right. And then the last slide, of course, is action. So what are we going to do personally to see our increase in recruiting? And I want you to think about that. Are you going to start handing out flyers to your guests? Are you going to be intentional about planting those seeds? And so I want you to think about that. And then, of course, if you are a leader and you're on this webinar, what are you going to do to transfer that knowledge that you've learned to your team? So we've learned something today. And how are you going to tell your team how to do that? So we want to be duplicatable. We want to make sure everything looks easy. We want to plant those seeds. We want to water them for sure. And we really want to stick with those 3 I's. And we'll go back to those quickly. Interest, invite, and interview. So I want you to think about those 3 I's: creating the interest, inviting people, and then interviewing them. And I think those will be very crucial to your recruiting conversations that you're having. Now I'm going to exit out of this screen share so we can all be back here. Hello. Hey, Carrie, I can see you now. So I want, I think I've muted. Now you're unmuted. Can you hear me now, or I can hear you now?
I can hear you.
How are you doing?
I have been insanely sick.
Oh, no. I'm sorry. I know a lot of crazy stuff has been going around here, too, at school. Stomach virus and flu and craziness like that, strep and all that. Please don't breathe on my kids.
I'm dealing with double pink eye right now, as well as sinus, ears, throat. Like, they threw it all at me.
Oh, bless your heart. That is rough. Well, I would love to hear from y'all. How are recruiting things going for you? Or do you have any tips to share or any questions you want to ask?
Can I start?
Yeah.
Recruiting for me has been amazing. Like, I'm not a recruiter. Like, I'm not a pusher. Like, if somebody says that they're interested, I give them the info, add them to the team page, blah, blah, blah. But I'm not one of those, like, so when are you going to join? When are you going to join?
Right.
Well, in the past, since February, I've had 4 girls join.
Awesome.
And yeah, I know. And 2 of them, their launch party, they're best friends. So they're doing a dual launch party this Friday night at my mom's restaurant. And I have 3 more that are signing this weekend, and then 2 more next week. So it's like,
you're rocking it,
craziness right now.
Well, you should have been teaching this webinar tonight, not me.
Yeah, no, not so much. But I make sure, like, I think the one thing that has changed for me is I changed up how I do my parties. Like, I make sure to let everybody know, like, I am not going to stand up and talk to you for an hour about every product. Like, that's just not me. And I make it more fun. And that's where I've been getting all my recruits. And when they see that they don't have to stand there and talk to everybody, no joke, I talk for maybe the whole time, maybe 25 minutes.
Yeah.
If that.
Yeah.
And then I let my guests pretty much do my party. Like, I have them all pick out their favorite product and tell me about it and what they would use it for. And my sales have increased.
Okay.
And my bookings have increased. And of course my recruiting. And I was like, man, I've been going on 5 years. Like, why haven't I been doing this from the beginning?
Right.
It's insane.
But that's great.
It is. I'm 2 pikas away from earning LIT. So.
Yay.
I know, right?
That's exciting. I know. Well, I know. For me, I did some changes this time too. I've played Name That Tune at my parties for a while, but I've changed up how I do it, and it's a lot more interactive, and I mean, I only show very few products, but I have them all there, but I really talk about, just when I talk about products and pass them around, I kind of have them share too. So I'm like you, I'm letting them kind of do the party. But the main thing I changed was showing my very first product that I ever purchased and how it's evolved and how I've changed because of 31. And so that's made a huge, huge difference. And just like the lady the other night, she listened so intently and then she left so quietly. And I was like, oh man, I think I lost her. But I didn't. She contacted me back yesterday and said, I'm interested. And so I was like, okay, then I must have did something right. And I was really, really, really trying to be duplicatable. And the thing that she said to me was, she said, I'm not trying to insult you and please don't take this the wrong way. And I was like, okay. And she said, you made it look so easy. And I was like, yay, that's what I've been looking for. It's because I wanted my party to look easy. I wanted to look like somebody else could do it. And so she saw that. And so I love that she said that. I needed that reassurance myself because I don't want it ever to look too complicated. I want it to look easy. And so that's what you're doing, Carrie. You're making it look easy because, people they're sharing the product and really at the end of the party, you can say, I don't know why all of you are not on my team. You all just did your first 31 party, so.
Oh my God, that's perfect.
So that might help.
No, seriously, that's perfect. Can I ask you a quick question? Cause you said that, like I truly, I bring everything. Like there's maybe 2 or 3 things that I don't have in the book.
Okay.
But that's because like I've sold them at a party and then I'm waiting for them to come in my next party. But I only put out, lately I've been putting out just the enrollment kit.
Uh-huh.
And I work off the enrollment kit because I want them to know that if they sign up, this is what they're getting and this is how you can do it. But do you bring everything? Because I hear people all the time. No?
No. Hang on and I'll get what I bring. It's on my table right over here. Give me 1 second. Okay. I use the Hostess organizer thing, or the Hostess exclusive organizer that we got. And so I had it monogrammed with I Heart 31. And then I keep my products in here. And so, I mean, like, I don't have everything in here. I just have a few things. I make sure that I have the monthly special in here. And then, let's see, I'll show a few different totes. And then the other thing I have, I needed a new one of these so desperately. And I ordered a Zout in pink with I Heart 31 as well. And that's where my catalogs and stuff are. And that's all I take. Those two things, I walk in with those two things, and that's it. And so as I'm doing my Name That Tune, I pull a tote out of the bag, out of the organizer, and pass that around. And that's it. I mean, I don't take a whole lot. It's not the enrollment kit. Go ahead.
What am I doing wrong then? Because, I mean, I used to bring everything. And then I was like, I was bringing my large utility tote full, and then, you know, my business bag and whatever. And I was like, too much, like way too much. So I downsized to, you know, like my top 20 favorite things. But then I would get that person at the party that says, oh, well, I wish you had this.
Yes.
I would order it again.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was like, well,
yeah,
book a party and I'll make sure I have that item at your party.
Right.
And I noticed my sales decreased. So now, like, I have, no joke, I can fit everything I own in a deluxe utility tote and a large utility tote. And then I'm using my style setter as my business bag.
Okay. There's nothing wrong with that. That's what works for you. It obviously is working for you. So, I mean, with your recruiting and your sales, if that's what works for you, then that's your style, you know. I don't say, I mean, I've always been able to get away with just carrying what I carry. So, and you are too. I mean, that's working for you. So I wouldn't change it if it works. I mean, there's no need to change it unless you feel like it, I mean, it obviously looks duplicatable because you are recruiting. So, I mean, if you felt like, you know, that it looked too hard, then that would be something different. But if it doesn't look too hard, then don't worry about it. I think it's fine.
Okay. All right. Awesome.
I just have all my stuff squished in there. So that's why it all fits, you know. So it's all folded down and as tight as it'll go. Before my party, I try to just go ahead and make sure I have what I'm showing through my Name That Tune. Because if it's the same crowd, I'll pick different songs. And so, you know, I'll have it lined up in the order. So that way I'm not fishing through the bag. But honestly, I have found that when it looks like I don't know what I'm doing, which I'm looking for product, then I have more people respond to that. So I think because it looks more human, you know, more normal. So, that may be the case. But yeah, I think you're doing fine. I wouldn't worry one bit.
Alrighty.
Yeah. All right. Any other comments or questions about recruiting tonight? I did record, so I will post the link, but it takes forever to upload, so it'll probably be tomorrow.
Yeah, you can't post the link.
Oh gosh, we can't even tell you have pink eye. If I looked like you when I was sick, I would be thankful. You look great.
Thanks.
Don't think anything about it. I had to get dressed to go to church because I teach youth on every other Wednesday night, and tonight was my night to teach. Otherwise, before I actually took a shower, I have been cleaning baseboards in my house today. So, you know, that was not a pretty look at all. So, otherwise, I would have on a hat still. All right. Any other questions or comments from our other Brady Bunch people here? All right. Well, y'all have a good night. And Sunday, I'm doing a training here at my house, and I'm going to do a business notebook with the people who can come. And so I'll share those files that we're going to use. But then I'm also going to turn my computer around. So anybody who wants to zoom in while we're doing that, I'll send that invite out so you can watch the meeting if you want to, but I'll record it. So we'll post it later as well. Because we're going to talk about lots of different things, but we're going to build a business notebook and trying to keep everything in one binder as far as your business goes. And that may help your team. It may help you. So I would love for you to join in if you can, but if not, you can always look at the recording or the YouTube video later. All right. Have a good night.
Thanks, Kate.
Good to see you, dear.
You too.
All right. Bye.
Bye-bye.